So, this is Arviat Nunavut, and this is what it does to your hair. It's a little foggy, a little frizzy, and a lot of hat head. It's June the 3rd. It's about -2, and you definitely still need a toque, gloves, and your down parka. But today the sun is shining, and apparently this is the first time they've seen sun in weeks and weeks and weeks because of the fog that rolls in off the ice as Hudson's Bay is starting to melt. And by starting to melt, I mean it's still 6 feet. The ice is still 6 feet thick, and it will be the end of June before they start to see any water in the bay. So what am I doing here in this crazy place? Well, I'm here for 17 days, and I'm surveying 150 local residents to get their idea about food security in their community, what they feel about the food they have, how much traditional food they eat, what are their thoughts on the foods that they buy from the 2 local stores, and do they have any idea about what is going on in the greenhouse and what type of food it can produce. Currently, we are growing lettuce, Swiss chard, cabbage, and potatoes, and they're going to be ready to harvest in the middle of June. We are germinating right now 1,200 heads of lettuce, 500 head of Swiss chard, which will be ready the end of July. And hopefully there's going to be one more harvest before the end of the season. We're not sure about the mix of vegetables because we don't have a lot of input from the community, so that's one of the things that I'm looking at. We built these 2 huge 42-foot domes a year ago, August, and I flew here with somebody who was a manager from the local hardware store, and he had no idea that there was a greenhouse here. And when I mentioned the buildings, he went, "Oh yeah, I kind of wondered what they grew, what they did inside there. Huh, guess I know now." So that's the challenge, is getting people to understand what it is and how they can be connected to it. I'm staying in the research facility with Brody, who's a team member from Green Igloo, and a girl named Kate, who is a nurse who's doing a master's degree in public policy, and she is here working in the greenhouse a little bit, but doing a lot on the public health side and trying to look at the rate of communicable diseases in the community with TB, STDs, and just learning on how they handle health here in the north. Well, that's my check-in for now. Don't have a whole lot to tell you other than it's kind of cold, kind of foggy, and really cool. Talk to you soon. See you later. June 4th and toque time. I just got back from walking to the Helmut office and having a visit with my friend Michelle Mala, who is helping me get situated in the community and offering the community support in the surveys that we are doing. She's going to do some printing of some posters for me. And then I had a little trip to the greenhouse to look at what's going on. And if you look at my Facebook page, I'm going to post some pictures of what we're growing in the greenhouse and the stages that things are at. And my little walk along the way, looking at some fog off in the distance towards the airport, and some pictures out onto Hudson's Bay, which again is covered in fog. I was lucky to get here when I did on Saturday. That was the last flight that's been in. Everything else has attempted to come and been diverted back to Winnipeg or just never left Winnipeg at all. And now flights are so backed up and so full, people that were supposed to come out on Sunday have now been rescheduled for Thursday. Barring that, none of the flights are canceled. Today, we've had nothing in and out of here as the fog is too dense. It's just a story of what it's like up north. It is around 0 today and snowed last night. Nothing that stuck to the ground, but it was definitely blowing in the air. It's really windy and really damp today, and walking isn't easy out there in it, but you sort of expect that for being in the Arctic. It is what it is. And so tonight we found out that at the community center They're announcing a big new program. They're starting for an after-school program in September. And Susan Aglukart is from Arviat and does a lot to support her community. And she's going to be there making the announcement tonight. And she's going to be singing. So Kate and I are going and hoping that we can talk Brody into coming along with us. Haven't run out of water today. A little smarter than what I was yesterday. We now know. And need to call the hamlet and make sure we are on the regular water list so that we're not trying to boil dirty snowbank water to flush the toilet. Wasn't a good scene. That's my update for today. If I have any more exciting information, I'm sure to let you know. See you soon. So, welcome to Nunavut Wednesday. No point wearing the same hat every day. Last night we had a really incredible evening. We went to the community center to listen to Susan Aglukart talk about her charity called Rose of the North and a new initiative that she's starting here in the community with the Hamlet Development Coordinator, Michelle Mala, who is responsible for the greenhouse that I'm doing my research on. They are starting a program in September in art therapy for youth that's going to run after school every day. There'll be local artists, painters and singers, and ones that they're bringing in from other communities in Nunavut. Sounds like a really exciting program. She talked about her story and how she got to where she is today. And that is a person who is proud to be an Inuk, and the realization that the stories that she's heard about her family and where she's come from and where all Inuit come from is not true. They're taught that they were wanderers and really had no place, when in fact descendants of the Inuit came across the land bridge from Russia more than 5,000 years ago through what is now the Bering Strait, and then migrated east across the country into Greenland. So, in fact, they are incredibly resilient people who learned to live off the land in several different climate changes, and they're now in a struggle to identify who they are, regain their culture, and some pride in who it is that they are as a people. And Susan is a gleaming example of what it means to be an Inuk in a world where you have a foot in two places. This is still home. She still relies on her native traditions to center herself and bring her back to reality. But she also has a foot in the Western world because she lives in Oakville. So she's an example of how it works if you try. And her message to youth was, if you see something, you just have to keep going for it, and you need to keep believing in yourself. So today my big challenge has been getting our toilet fixed, because apparently I'm not the cause of us running out of water. It was a toilet that was continually running, and we were all happy that we had a full tank of water yesterday about 5 o'clock, and then we went out in the evening and came back home and walked back when it was about -9 and really windy and extremely foggy, and my glasses were fogged up and my face was frozen. I just really wanted to have a hot shower, to find a note from our housemate Brody saying, well, we don't have any water anymore. So we figured out what the problem was, got some emergency water last night, or we had enough to make it through to this morning if all we did was use it for the toilet and to brush your teeth. And we got a fill up early this morning after I had called, and I went to Arctic College, who owns this home, and let them know that we were having a problem. And today I've been waiting around this afternoon to have the toilet repaired, and a quick fix was done on today. The big fix is going to be done tomorrow, so now I can have the rest of the afternoon to myself, where I'm off to the wellness center to meet with them to talk about what happens if I'm interviewing somebody and they let me know that they are suffering from food insecurity and have some issues that they need to talk about or some way to find food, I need to be able to point them in the direction of somebody who will help them. That appears to be the Wellness Center. And then I am going to the radio station to talk to them about doing some airtime with me to let me explain what my survey is, or at least read the text I have for me so that I can get people to come out and fill out my survey, because I'm just wasting my time if I don't get that done. So that's the update for today. It is -6. It looks like it's a little sunny out right now, but there's a peninsula of land that goes out into the bay that the town sits protected behind, and you can see a big gray storm cloud just hanging over that landmass waiting to come ashore. So it's not going to be a great day for much longer, but while the sun's shining, I'm going to get out and walk to where I need to walk before it gets too cold. And this weekend we're expecting about 3 centimeters of snow, so not really looking forward to that, and maybe I'm hoping that the weather will be a little bit better when I get back home mid-month. That's the update for today. See you tomorrow. Well, welcome to No Toot Thursday. That's only because I haven't been out yet today. I'm on toilet repair duty for the morning. It appears that our little toilet leak we had the other night is a little bit bigger than what we had anticipated, or what the hamlet has anticipated. The building that we're in is a prefab, for lack of a better term, double wide trailer that is may have parts in it that are plentiful in the south, but it's not something that anybody up here has. So they tried to clean the inside of the toilet tank, and that didn't work. And then they tried to replace all the guts inside of it, and that didn't work either. And then they came back with just a toilet tank, put a new tank on. Well, I don't think that worked either, because right now there's nobody here working on it, and we have a tankless toilet. So I'm hoping they're going to come back, because it might be necessary before the end of the day. I spent yesterday speaking with the nurse and mental health counselor at the Wellness Center about food insecurity in the community and the greenhouse, and how we can sort of bolster support for it, get people interested in it. They don't really care. And the reason they don't care is they're really tired of people coming in, interviewing them, surveying about their food, which I'm going to do again, their housing, their health. Sometimes the answers come back to the community. Many times they don't. And even when they do come back, the answer is then, so what? You're doing a survey to tell us that we're food insecure. That's something we already know. So hopefully the one that I'm doing, because it's a longitudinal study and it's based on what the impact of this greenhouse is going to be, that it might give them a little more food security in respect to fresh greens. They have fresh food. That would be caribou and whale and seal and fish. But they don't have fresh vegetables. And we're hoping that that can become part of a regular diet that helps aid in the health of the community. Everybody's a little bit skeptical, including us, but I think if we approach it from the right direction, give the food away, give it to the wellness center so they can use it in the meal that they do once a week for their patients that come to the wellness center for mental health issues. Also supply some fresh fruit or fresh vegetables to a dinner that they host at the health center. That's a prenatal course where women are given one night a week a meal, and a lot of times these two programs, that's the only really healthy food that people get in a week. Hoping that a lot of it can go over to the schools. One of the incentives for sending your children to school is the fact that they get breakfast and lunch every day. So it would be nice if they had some fresh vegetables and children learned about cooking and different recipes and things that they could do with what we're growing right now, and that is potatoes, lettuce, kale, and Swiss chard. As you can see, it's bright in here today, and that's kind of nice because the sun's shining for the first time in days and days and days. And tonight, I'm going to be going to the community center where they have a square dance every Thursday night and on Saturdays. And hopefully I'll get a few people who are interested in filling out the survey that I have, because the prize at the end for anybody who's completed one is their name in a draw for a really spectacular, cool bike that I brought up from Winnipeg. And I have to go to the radio station today and make arrangements to do some on-air chatting about the greenhouse and the foods that are grown in it and how the community can access them. And hopefully I can do all of that without being outside in super windy, foggy conditions that we've had. Not really looking forward to the weekend because we're expecting 5 centimeters of snow on Saturday and another couple on Sunday. And in my book, coming up to mid-June, it should be spring, but that is spring in the Arctic. We no longer have dark nights anymore. Actually, it's been since April the 18th was the last time there was a dark night. Now we have twilight, and currently it's from about 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish to 3:30 in the morning. That really isn't going to change much until early August. Might shorten up a little bit around the 21st. You might get down to 3 hours of twilight. But that's about it. It is summer solstice time, and the community is alive at all hours of the day. If we could just get some ice out of the harbor, it would be really nice. We could see some water, but that's not going to be before I leave. It's usually the end of June before the harbor is free of ice, and there's hope that the sea lift can get in, but again, that's anywhere from early July till late July, depending on the winds and where the ice is blowing and what kind of weather conditions we have out there. So that's my little update from now from sunny Arviat. I'll see you in a couple of days. So just walking home at almost 11 o'clock at night from what was supposed to be a square dance, but really it was just a bunch of kids running around yelling and screaming and a band playing that was so loud that I couldn't really interview anybody because I couldn't hear them. But if you have a look, it is almost 11. It is cold. I would say it probably feels like about -5 or 6, but it's not foggy, and the sky in the distance is kind of a pinky glow that I will show you from around the front of our lovely house. And it's been a chilly walk home, but the good part is it's still light. So if a polar bear comes, I can see him from where he is headed towards me, because I would be really good polar bear bait. Here's what the sky looks like. Just do a pan. So that was just a pan out the bay. The north is a protected cove, and the end of that little pan is straight out into Hudson's Bay. And you see the ice is a really pretty bluey green color now as it starts to melt. I'm going to show you our porch, or steps up into our house. And if you notice, we have no back railing. And that's because in early April, Brody and Ben were here during a blizzard, and Brody opened the door and the wind caught the door and ripped it out of his hands and smashed it into the back of the porch and broke the railing off the porch. And then Brody couldn't get the door closed. It took Brody and Ben both pulling on the door from the inside in were what sustained 100-mile-an-hour winds and driving snow before they could not be freezing their butts off for the night. So that's my little update for today. I am cold and time for me to go in the house and call it a day. Check in again next time. Obviously it's Toque Thursday, and it'll probably be Toque Friday and Toque Saturday and Toque Sunday and so on until I get on a plane and come back home in a week and a half. See you next time. Bye. So I lie tucked in my bed, contemplating of what today's adventure is going to be. Yesterday I spent 6 hours in the lobby of the Northern Shore trying to interview people. And I think I got about 12. So I only have about 138 to go. It's a slog. What really surprises me when I ask people about what they think about the cost they pay for groceries, and they think that it's okay. And that's because those are the ones that have never been south. Never been to Winnipeg, where produce is plentiful and cheap. But I will tell you, there's times that I'm stunned by what is in the flyers. This week, iceberg lettuce is $1.99 and mushrooms are $1.99. Not sure of the quality of them because we had a week where not a single flight got in here. I flew in on Saturday. That was the last plane with cargo on it until yesterday. We have had no bottled water left in the store for the big jugs that we buy. Their water filling station has been broken for 10 months. 2 months. 1 liter bottles of water were $8.99. A 1 liter bottle of sparkling water is $8.99. A jug of cranberry juice is $14.99. Normally at home, I drink a 1.5 liter bottle of sparkling water and a half a bottle of cranberry juice a day. That's an expensive habit to have up here. I kind of feel like I'm a drug addict, doling out my money to make sure it lasts. Today I'm interviewing at the store for another, be there probably 5 hours, and then tomorrow 3 hours at the community center at the Inuit Caves. So it's Saturday, and this is me walking home from the store, and it's about 9:07. And it's been raining sideways and sleet, and we've had no cell phone, and there was no debit in the store. Kind of got our telephone service back, but everything else is kind of intermittent, and not one single person wanted to do my survey today because everybody comes into the store soaking wet from the rain. And so I'm just gonna hustle my butt home for the next plot and call it a day. It's more than Toque Saturday. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's cold and it's crappy, and 24 degrees and sun at home is sounding pretty damn good about now. That's all I have to say today. So it is Thursday, June the 13th, and this is me walking home from Healthy Baby, Healthy Mom and the daycare center. And as you can see behind me, it's a beautiful sunny day in Arviat. It's actually warmed up enough that I've taken a couple of layers off and only have a light downfill jacket. And I always wear my orange nylon raincoat so that everybody starts to recognize me, because people say to me now, "You are everywhere." And I have been everywhere in this community. I've been hanging out at the northern store trying to get some surveys done. I was at the daycare center yesterday and back there again today, and at the Healthy Baby Center, and at the Inuit Games the other day, at Arctic College, any place where I could try and find some people, at the Hamlet, to hand out my surveys, because I need 150 and I don't have that many. But today I gave out about 25, so I'm hoping that people are excited. And the lady in the Healthy Baby Center, she gave me the inside scoop. I need to call the radio station and advertise on air tomorrow morning that I'm going to be over at the radio station with surveys, and the grand prize is a big bike that we're going to auction off, or we're going to give away on Sunday night. And I should get a few people, because everybody plays bingo, and we'll be in buying their bingo cards and their Nevada cards, and hopefully I'll get a lot of them that way. And then I'm going to go back over to the Healthy Mom Center, because they feed them every day. They feed expectant moms. Monday they take them shopping, so they know how to look for foods that are healthy for them. Tuesdays and Thursdays they only allow healthy snacks. So today it was celery sticks and cauliflower and broccoli and grapes. And on Fridays it is traditional food day. So right now it's caribou and some muktuk, which is whale, and niku, which is dried caribou. So people always show up for that. So I'll go there Friday and hopefully be able to get some of the moms to answer my surveys. As you can see, oh, we missed it. Here we have everybody rides on their ATVs all together. 5, 6, 7, 8, doesn't matter. But it's not so bad when it's a clear day and it's not really windy, and I can see right across the bay out into the point. And I've taken some pictures that I'm going to post, and you have to zoom in, but you can see that the spit of land that protects this bay and cove is littered with cabins, and that's where people go out to hunt caribou, and that's where they dry their caribou, out at their cabins. So the reason I haven't been having many people on weekends is because this is the time of year that they're all out there spending the weekend out on the land and preparing their caribou for the summer. Well, that's my little update for today. I'm not going to have very many more updates because I am coming home on Monday, and I'm kind of happy because I've been sick and got a flu bug that was going around, or a stomach bug that was going around, and spent a couple of days under the weather. And I'm going to be happy to get home where there's some grass and even pavement. I'm a little sick of dirt, because that's all there is here, is dirt and muck and dirty old snowbanks. So that's my update. Check in before I'm out of here. See y'all soon. So checking in from Arviat on a Friday afternoon, sitting down at the dock in the sunshine. It is about maybe 3 or 4 degrees, a little bit windy, but certainly nicer than when I got here, and it was fog everywhere. I learned a lot today. I was at the Healthy Baby, Healthy Mom Center, where they tried to give me some of their traditional foods, because that's what they do on a Friday, and I tried some bannock, but I had to do a hard no on the muktuk, which is whale blubber, and frozen caribou meat dipped in butter and onions. I needed to play to me. I've been sick this week and my stomach isn't liking things like that. They also gave me a lot of insight into issues in the community that are creating food security other than the cost of food. And then I met a really interesting character in the store who told me about his time in the army, and he is a drum dancer, and he's been drum danced for the Governor General 3 times, and he's was born here, but his parents are inland caribou people who were planted here by the Canadian government. He told me that caribou for the fall, or this past spring, was only about 30 miles away from here, and it was a herd of about 1,000 that were heading north. And last year he harvested 3 belugas right here in the harbor. One of them was a 25-footer, and he's seen bowhead here, and occasionally they see killer whales, not very often. And right now there's bearded seal, but they're out on the flow edge, and it's only about a half an hour from here. He also told me some crazy stories about being in Farley Mowat's house and crashing his ATV and walking home after he crawled out of a river from under the ice for 13, he walked home for 13 hours. So not sure how much of his story is true, but there has to be some little bit in there that is his hunting days. He does hunt traditionally with a harpoon and in a canoe. So really interesting guy. Gotta have a lot of notes to do. But this is the bay today. It's low tide. The snow is melting quickly, and I'm gonna be home in 3 days. So that's my little update for today. This is Julie saying bye-bye from Arviat. Well, it's Saturday night, and it's about 6 o'clock, and it's been so warm here today. I've seen kids with flip-flops and shorts on, but by warm I mean it's 6 degrees and hardly any wind, which means the flies and the mosquitoes are coming out. But as you can see, it's no toot Saturday, and this is the first time that I've been outside without my damn hat on for 3 weeks. So I'm ready to take my hat off and come home to where it might be rainy, but it's a whole lot warmer and a whole lot greener, because here the only thing there is dirt and mud and old piles of dirty snow. But just a little bit longer and I'll be home tomorrow. I'm gonna try those Inuit games again and hope that there's some people at them, but everybody is out on the land at their cabin making their niku, which is dried caribou. It's that time of year, and when the weather's nice, they all take off to the cottage, and the cottage is just a square cabin out on the land with no water and no hydro, and they go out there and they stay out there for the weekend. Our greenhouse guy Brody, he's out there today on the land, and he's been out there 2 or 3 times this week in the evenings, because of course it never gets dark, and so there's really not a whole lot of difference between 6 o'clock at night and midnight. This is one of my last check-ins before heading home. So from no toque bad hair day Saturday in Arviat. See you soon in Aurora. if everybody's ready, it is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And like I said, I would do the draw for the bikes today. So this is everybody's ticket that's in the draw box. And I'm going to give it a big shake. And mix them all up. And the winner of the bike is Jacqueline Utuk. And I'm going to give her a call because she's got a telephone number on here. Congratulations, Jacqueline. So for our last check-in from Arviat, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. And as you can see, I don't have the orange coat on anymore. I have my yellow coat on, which means I'm heading home. It's been an interesting, almost 20 days away from home, and learned a lot about what I didn't know about this community. A lot of the issues around food security that aren't just food. There's a whole lot more going on, but maybe we'll help them be part of the puzzle and fix some of what we can when we're here. This is Julie saying so long from Arviat. I am out. YYZ bound.